Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our town meeting. I will now call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone. If anybody needs agendas, they're up here at the podium. In attendance tonight, we have Supervisor Ekman, Supervisor Erler, Supervisor Albert, Supervisor Friedman, and I am Supervisor Birmingham. So we do have a quorum for tonight's meeting. At this time, I would like to ask for a moment of silence for Trooper Pajara and also Senator Lindsey Graham. So if we can have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Have the supervisors all taken a look at the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Stavros, you're up for public comment. You asked for, since this is for the Park and Rec Committee, if we go over the allotted 3 minutes, that's fine. Public comment is generally, and tonight will be reserved for 3 minutes. You get 3 minutes. Stavros, because of the fireworks situation, and he's representing the Parks and Rec Committee, this is not a public comment, but town business.
An update. Call it an update.
An update.
Check. Can you hear me? Good. Stavros Barbonis, Chairman, Parks and Recreation Board. Thank you for giving me a moment to make a public statement. The public is aware that Parks and Recreation Board is seeking restitution and an explanation from Celebration Fireworks. They have received a request and have indicated that they are reviewing the matter and will provide us with a response in the next coming days. That said, yes, fireworks are a key element for this event. Yes, things did not go as planned, but we had a great event, great attendance, a great selection of food and beverage vendors, and even though it fired late, we did have a fireworks display. My observance of the crowd and speaking with vendors throughout the event, I'd say people were enjoying themselves. This was the first time our township held its July 4th fireworks celebration on the holiday itself, and on the nation's 250th anniversary. Parks and Rec committed to making it special. Staff, volunteers, and the fireworks vendor were all on site by 8 a.m., many of us staying throughout the day, and our families were right there with us. Parks and Recreation is kind of like a community of its own, built on people who show up, give their time, and care deeply. We even have a former volunteer with over 16 years of service who returns every year to help. That camaraderie, the sense of purpose, and the smiles we see make it all worthwhile. When an event doesn't meet expectations, frustration is understandable, but how we express that frustration matters. Respectful communication keeps our community strong, encourages understanding, and helps turn disappointment into progress. Parks and Recreation collected a combined total of $48,152.78 between donations and concession sales from both the Mount Bethel Fire Company wet down and the July 4th fireworks event. Our expenses and outbound donations totaled $43,201.20, netting us approximately $4,951.58, possibly down to the penny, which we intend to put towards the master plan update for the community park. This matches an additional $5,000 donation we received privately towards the master plan update, which then adds to the boss contribution of $9,365. We're also making donations to Suburban EMS along with the Mount Bethel, North Bangor, and Portland Fire Companies in appreciation for their attendance and assistance in creating an organized and safe July 4th fireworks event. In short, We've spent months of planning and coordination to net roughly a $5,000 return to benefit Parks and Recreation development. Some of us bled, some of us had tears, and for certainly we were all sweating on July 4th. We sincerely appreciate the residents, the many residents who remain positive, patient, and constructive. Your support and goodwill set the tone for the entire community. And for those who want to help improve our great township, we encourage you to get involved. Engagement, showing up, volunteering, offering ideas is how we grow, strengthen, and continue building a community that we're proud of. Thank you all for your continued respect, participation, and commitment to one another. Thank you.
Thank you, Stavros. I was with a bunch of the cars and, out there with the crowd. And I will say, they were getting antsy, and that's understandable. But we've been working with celebrations for years now, and they typically do a great show. Things happen. I will say after the fireworks show was over, I heard a big round of applause. I mean, people appreciated it. I talked to John Post. He said it was a great show. He said it was short. He said he was disappointed by that. I know you're negotiating with them. He suggested, and you're handling the negotiations, but he suggested get them to do the Veterans Day fireworks for free. So I'm just throwing that out there. That's what Mr. Post said. But overall, he thought it was a good show. So thank you guys, and thank you to the Park and Rec Committee for all that you do. We'll open it up for general public comments now. So if you have a public comment, come on up here. Give your name. You get 3 minutes. Nick's got the timer. And you can give your address if you want, or you can say I'm an Upper Mount Bethel resident, or you can tell me who your favorite football team is, whatever you want, but you get the mic for 3 minutes. So that being said, does anybody want to make a public comment? Charles.
Charles Baltic. I'm a township resident and auditor for the township. I just want to thank the supervisors for supporting the Liberty Tree Monument project and just report on that. We were able to get a donation of a Liberty Tree elm from the Mid-Hill Nursery affiliated with the Pectors, and also a contribution of the planting of the tree. And we were able to secure a monument marker, a granite block, 12 by 24 by 4 inches deep, so it's very durable, to mark the tree and to mark the semi-quincentennial of the United States of America. So it was a wonderful achievement. I want to thank, in addition to the supervisors supporting the effort, Nick Graziano, who was instrumental in helping me pull it together. I want to thank my fellow auditors, Rod Roof and Leo Andrade, who also were very supportive of me in the planning of the event, particularly Rod Roof. I'd like to thank the Upper Mount Bethel road crew who were involved in the planting of the tree and the erecting of the monument stone. And also some individuals. I had said that we would try to raise some funding to help the township. We raised $500 from the auditors, myself, Rod Roof, Leo Andrade, also residents Mike and Jean Perrin, resident Jane Tempellini, and our supervisor Birmingham very kindly also contributed to the effort. We had a very nice dedication ceremony on July 4th at 3:30 in the afternoon, attended by several people. We had some extemporaneous remarks from Supervisor Birmingham, from Auditor Rod Roof, and some written remarks and a prayer from myself. I've already submitted my remarks and the prayer to Cindy Beck that could be maybe submitted for the town record so people can take advantage of those if they'd like to see them. But I'm very pleased that we have a permanent memorial marking the 250th anniversary of the United States in this township. And again, thank you for the contribution and everybody's efforts involved.
And Charles, why don't you just tell the people where they can find the tree when they pull in the park?
So if you pull into the park and you start down the main drive, there are a lot of trees on the left-hand side previously planted. There's one tree on the right-hand side, about halfway down the other trees. So it stands alone on the right-hand side of the drive as you enter, and it's got a granite marker in front of it. And right now, happily, it has some American and America 250 flags marking it as well. So easy to spot. And I recommend everybody go visit it. Hopefully it will be cherished over the years for our generation and future generations.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Public comment? Yeah, whoever wants to come up, come on up. Lynn Manzi, our road foreman. How about a round of applause for Lynn Manzi for all he does? And make sure your wife knows I said Manzi.
You did. My wife's probably watching, so that's important. And that's why I'm here. I just want to say the thank you to the board, the staff, Cindy, Nick, for the resolution on a special day, on a 250th anniversary, 4th of July. Not necessary, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. You deserve it. Thank you. Come on up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Wrong glasses. Here they are. My name is Andrew Stone. I've been part of this township for 25 years now. I've been speaking a lot to residents and people in surrounding communities concerning the potential of the data center that may be going in on River Road. So we kind of put a petition out there and had some signatures. And I just wanted to read real quick what we gave with the signature document. I did not write this, so I will read it. Our demands is we respectfully urge the Upper Mount Bethel Township Board of Supervisors, who have been elected by the residents of Upper Mount Bethel, to take the following actions. Number one, reject any approval, deny any rezoning request, land use approvals, permits, or agreements related to the proposed development of data centers within Upper Mount Bethel Township that could adversely affect nearby residential communities. Number two, ensure public transparency and community input. Hold public meetings and town hall forums to provide residents with meaningful opportunities to review proposals, ask questions, and voice concerns. Any discussions regarding potential developments should be conducted transparently and without limitations imposed by non-disclosure agreements that prevent public awareness and participation. So by signing the petition, we respectfully request that township officials prioritize the health, safety, property values, environmental resources, and quality of life of current and future residents when considering any proposed data center development. The UMBT board was elected to serve the residents of this community and to carry out the will of the people they represent, regardless of their own personal views. The citizens of Upper Mount Bethel have made their concerns and priorities clear, and it is the duty of the board to listen and act accordingly. The above statements reflect the wishes of your constituents whose trust and votes placed you in office and whose interest you are obligated to serve. So with that being said, I just think that we need to have further discussions publicly, figure out more of how a potential data center would affect the area environmentally, impact the lives of the residents in Upper Mount Bethel, and also those communities across the river, north in Portland, Lower Mount Bethel Township, all the people that may or may not use that river, you know, sorry, time's up. But
You
just
can
thank
finish up.
Thank you for all, well,
Well,
I mean, everybody understands that there's a lot of information out there. And I don't think we really got to the gist of the impacts environmentally and community, impacts that this may present, and kind of don't want to, hey, let's go ahead and get it in there without people really knowing what's going on. And then 5 years later, everybody's like, well, it's in there. What can we do now? And then have to deal with the consequences. So everybody that's been around here long enough know that it's a very fragile river community down there. And you see the water levels drop dramatically during drought. And a lot of us have wells along the river that we pull from. That's a concern. I mean, there's eagles that nest north and south of that area. One right across the street by Lamtech and Custom Laminating, and one down on River Road in front of a house, and being on the river a lot, I had seen a lot of eagles, and, the fish are concerns as well, so there's a lot of impacts that I don't think we really know yet, and just requesting for like kind of a hold the moratorium until we can figure out really more information on what kind of impact this place would have.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'll schedule something. I know I have vacation coming up near the end of the month. I'll try and get it in before then, and we'll make it an ongoing thing. Yeah.
I think a lot of people people got upset with me because I posted a lot about what I heard that was going to go on or is going on. And I'm a little disappointed that we didn't fill the room tonight because everybody was like, oh, I'm coming, or I'm going to show up. And I get it. People have lives. And I'm just a little disappointed that we didn't have a bigger turnout. But a lot of people I spoke to are concerned as well.
Yeah.
Not just for them because they might not be alive when it gets here. But one gentleman said, I'm more concerned for my grandkids when it comes. So
Yeah. Hey, Stavros, how many people do we have online watching? So you have 57 more watching. It's not as big as with the warehouse text amendment, but it's important stuff, and I'll schedule a meeting.
Right. And just one more thing, I was surprised at how many people were unaware of what potentially is going in there, could go in there. And we only kind of heard by word of mouth through this person, that person, this person. So I know not everybody's online, not everybody knows when meetings are, but if we could have like more meetings concerning the development, that would be outstanding. But,
Yeah. We don't know for sure yet. They haven't signed any sort of deal.
Okay.
If I had to take a guess, I would say, yeah, they're trying to get a data center in there, but they could turn around tomorrow and say, you know what? I don't want to do a data center. I'm doing a warehouse.
Right.
So
and the concern, I know a lot of people brought up comments the past, I don't know, I forget what day it was. We lost power a couple of times in one day, one of the real hot days. And people were, well, how are we going to supply power to a center? And, so it's all kinds of different.
Yeah. And
issues.
we'll have that meeting.
Yeah.
We'll have that meeting. We'll have a few meetings, and we've already told Talon that we need to be transparent with the people. Otherwise, we're going to go through a hard time with citizen backlash. So the more transparent we are with you, the easier our job is.
I agree. And I try to put it out there. Hey, we all have different views.
Yeah. All right.
I'm not going to be upset with anybody that is different. They shouldn't be upset with you guys. You have a job to do too.
All right.
So
Let me
thank you.
move on. Thank you, Andrew. There was Courtney. Go ahead. Come on up. All right, I just have to remind everyone we have to stick to the 3 minutes, okay? Guys, I'm doing my best here.
Hi, good evening. Stephanie Donnelly, Upper Mount Bethel resident.
Hold on 1 sec. Can everybody just keep it down a little so the lady may speak? Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Sure.
what was your last name?
Donnelly.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, sure. I'm a resident of Upper Mount Bethel Township, and I'm here tonight because I have serious concerns about the data center that was just mentioned, development at River Point, and about this township's transparency with its own residents. On May 27th of this year, I filed a right to know request with this township. I asked for 8 categories of records, including all correspondence with data center developers, zoning ordinance amendments, and any confidentiality or non-disclosure agreements that may have been signed on behalf of this community. The township's response stated that no such correspondence exists, no emails, no NDAs, no records of data center negotiations. In April of 2025, Chairman Birmingham told WFMZ on the record that this board was bound by a confidentiality agreement regarding development at River Point. He said directly, "I can't say what type of development is coming in here." When Amazon pulled out days later, Chairman Birmingham stated publicly that the township would continue to work hard towards securing a favorable deal. This tells me 2 things. First, a confidentiality agreement existed. Within the produced response to my right to know request, which went back to 2023. Second, this board has been actively pursuing a new deal ever since. I have also been informed by credible members of this community that Supervisor Erler has admitted at a recent board meeting to having already begun community benefit agreement negotiations related to data center development at this site. A community benefit agreement is not a casual conversation. It is a formal negotiation over the terms of a specific development deal. If those negotiations have occurred, correspondence exists, and this community is entitled to see it. I want to ask this board tonight on the public record, has the township entered into new confidentiality or non-disclosure agreements with any developer or energy company regarding River Point since the Amazon deal collapsed in 2025?
No.
Have any members of this board met with any developer or energy company representative regarding data center development at River Point since that date?
Yes.
Yes? And are community benefit agreement negotiations currently underway?
There's preliminary discussion, but there's nothing concrete yet. We haven't been told where we can spend the money, what we can spend it on. It's just in a preliminary discussion.
Okay. I'm filing an appeal with the Pennsylvania Office of Open Records. I want this board to know that that appeal is coming. We are not opposed to economic development. We are opposed to secret development. Negotiated behind closed doors, shielded by confidentiality agreements, denied in public records requests, and hidden from a community that has every right to participate in decisions about its own future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, just in a response to that, we are not under any sort of CDA or NDA. We have talks with them. These are preliminary talks right now. They don't have a partner. They don't have a company coming in yet. So we meet, like maybe once every 6 weeks or something. I don't know. But I've met with them maybe 3 times, 4 times, and it's been preliminary discussions. Yeah, we want a CBA. Who's the partner? Do you know? They don't know, or they're not telling us. And we've said to them, and I don't know if it was you, Dave, or you, John, who was there, but we said we have to be transparent with the people. If we're not transparent, then everything goes down the toilet. So we will be as transparent as we can. There's no backdoor deals. There's nothing secretive going on. As soon as they tell us who the partner is, we'll let you know.
Every single one of our meetings with the developer, we have stated at a Board of Supervisors meeting, and it's in the minutes. Every single one. There is no NDA. I would refuse to sign any NDA, but there's nothing more than preliminary talks at the moment.
Yeah, Courtney, you got 3 minutes. Come on up.
Hi, Courtney Gilmore, resident Upper Mount Bethel. John, you stated that you would plan a meeting. Is this meeting going to just be yourself? Because you don't have the credentials to talk about this.
I'm sorry, I don't what?
Don't have the credentials to talk about data centers.
Right.
Who will be at this meeting?
Let us think about it, but if there's data center experts out there, get in touch with us.
Or you can do your job and you can get it. Because I saw online, this is the problem when you post everything online, that an Evergreen resident reached out to you and said, we're hearing rumblings about a data center. And you said, oh, would you like me to come host a meeting about it? Under what credentials?
I want to hear their concerns.
Yes.
Hold on.
But how do you
You're
talk
accusing
about
me.
it?
You got to let me finish if you're accusing me. I am not a data center expert.
Correct.
I'll be the first to admit that.
Correct.
But if people like in Evergreen want to voice their concern, it's my job to listen to them.
Absolutely. However, if you know this is probably what's going to end up here, and I'm asking you tonight, who would you invite to a meeting for all of the residents to be able to voice their concerns and have real conversation? And you tell me you have to get back to me. This is no different than you telling us, I didn't read what was given to me.
Okay. Yeah, there's a hand in the back. Are you going on that side? You moving over there? Shane, go ahead. Good to see you.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Shane Savant. I live in Stone Church, Upper Mount Bethel. I've been a resident here since 2013. Transplant from, the Big Apple. And I would just like to say, with the data center situation, and I've had a conversation with some of the supervisors on the panel up here, in a friendly manner, discussing lots and lots of self-imposed research, if you will. And I would just like to go, on the record or state for the record for those who are unaware, the differences between what a traditional data center is and what a hyperscale AI data center is. Because I admit, after the whole warehouse thing and the data center was sort of, loosely talked about, I was one of those people that was like, oh, yeah, that's going to be better than a bunch of trucks coming in and out and, pollution and noise. But lo and behold, upon deeper discovery and research, a hyperscale data center is in fact tremendously worse than a warehouse in the sense of an environmental impact, because you have the water usage for the closed loop cooling system, which is not in fact an actual closed loop cooling system. There's tons of toxic gray water that's given in the blowdown from those things. You have the noise, you have the EMF, you have the generators that they have that some data centers have them on 24/7, some don't. You have the electrical situation where people in Georgia and Illinois and Wyoming and Indiana have had their entire homes that they paid for and lived in for 50 years taken by eminent domain to simply run the power that is needed for the construct of the data center, right? So we need to understand, this isn't just about Facebook and ChatGPT. In fact, we're already using all those things. We're already ordering off of Amazon and getting something delivered in 24 hours, right? These hyperscale data centers have nothing to do with consumer level usage of AI apps, Facebook, and cell phones. That needs to be really understood and researched, because what is happening, and it's a much longer detailed presentation to go into the nuts and bolts of what all these hyperscale data centers truly are, but they're not all unanimously, congruently the same thing. These hyperscale data centers are many things. For example, Japan with SoftBank is currently building the largest data center in the United States in Southern Ohio to make autonomous drones and robots. Japan, right? China owns 24 operating hyperscale data centers in the United States. China, right? Well, aren't we supposed to be competing with China? So if we're supposed to be competing with China, then why is this happening in every state, every county, across this entire nation, right? It doesn't make sense. There's so much to this data center
agree,
situation that it really needs to be examined, because I moved here, I bought my forever home, I don't want to leave, okay? I want to literally die
You got
in
to
this town.
You got to
right?
wrap it up, Shane.
So, okay, thank you. Was that the beep? Oh, that's my time. Sorry. Anyway, in conclusion, okay, there are other things that we could possibly consider. You want ideas? I got a whole truckload of ideas that we could do to generate e-commerce, bring in local actual jobs, because these data centers don't even bring in jobs. You get the initial build out, right? A couple hundred people will get a job. But once they're built, it's literally robot dogs patrolling
Shane.
with
I know.
10 people, operating these things. Anyway,
Thanks, Shane.
thank you for listening. Sorry, I'm just very passionate about my beautiful Upper Mount Bethel Township.
It's good to
Thank
see you. Thanks. Tom.
Tom Gilmore, 107 Morningside Drive. Looking around here tonight, I'm happy to see so many new faces, residents, your constituents, many whom are deeply concerned about decisions being made by our representatives on this board. I'll remind you that 4 of you were elected on a platform of reining in reckless development. Many of us here in the audience have done our research. This concern you're hearing being expressed tonight, it's not hysteria, but stems from the experience of other communities across this country. Some of those affected communities are here in Pennsylvania. These communities have firsthand experience with how data centers partnered with Talon Energy, one half of Slate Belt Holdings, has catastrophically affected their communities, environmentally, economically, and health-wise. Some of us are outdoorsmen, hunters and anglers, not your typical tree huggers, who have a different kind of connection with the environment here that makes UMBT special. I was blessed yesterday to take a successful business and property owner from Asbury Park out on the water bordering what these developers intend to turn into Data Center Alley. Immediately in front of this parcel, we were catching smallmouth and walleye, watching eagles, heron, and hawks flying overhead. I'll share his exact words. I cannot imagine why your representatives would allow someone to destroy such an incredible place and turn it into an industrial mess. I guess they haven't learned anything from what's been happening across the country. That's a direct quote. Next weekend, I'll have 40 some odd anglers participating in a charity event on the river here in front of Upper Mount Bethel. Unfortunately, there's no place for me to host them. No access to the river or to hold the awards. So instead, that money will go downstream to Belvedere instead of showcasing what we have here. I've got 3 questions I'd like answered tonight. You've already answered one of them about the NDA, so I'll do the other 2. First, 2 months ago, we gathered to discuss a CBA for a data center project. Mr. Erler called it. What has happened? How has that progressed? For a board where everyone sitting here was elected on some form of transparency, each of you ran on that. Can you share a hard copy of what's happening, where that's gone, what that draft CBA looks like? Put it on the website, share it with the community. We want to know what's being negotiated. Second, why has this municipality not moved forward with a data center ordinance? With the faulty MPC we're hampered with here in PA, many of our neighboring communities have moved forward with ordinances to protect their residents. Why haven't we? I hit my 3 minutes. I'll stand here and wait for a response.
Well, I'll talk to the CBA. There's nothing written in the there's no written document yet.
2 months ago, you called the chairs to the table. Chairs and vice chairs of all of your community representation from each of the boards and committees sat here. You're telling me in 2 months you haven't drafted something?
We don't have anything drafted.
That's embarrassing.
Well, it's not up to us. It's up to both parties.
Okay. Then why call an ideation working session with all of your committees if you're not going to draft something out of it? You said you were gonna.
I am. Once we get to the actual discussions on the CBA with Slate Belt Holdings to
It's
find
been
out what
2 months,
parameter
John.
you asked me for a response and I'm
Yep.
responding. We need the parameters of what can fit in it and how far we can take. We got a lot of good ideas together, and that was a great, I think, even second step to putting together a CBA that will affect the entire community if it comes to that. We are not at that point. I want it to be ahead of the game to get the residents' thoughts on if it were to happen, where would be the best place to develop the community and to put that money to assist the farmers that are here, the local businesses, the infrastructure. We got a lot of great ideas. You took part in it, and I thank you for that. And that was a great step in the right direction, but we are not at the point of utilization of it yet.
To clear up an inaccuracy from earlier, in the invite to that meeting, Mr. Erler, and to put this on public record, you said the township had already rejected a CBA for this project. I have your email. Cindy's on that email. The chairs and vice chairs of all the committees have that email. Is that accurate? Has the Board of Supervisors rejected a CBA from this developer?
No, we have not rejected CBA. We were
So then
in
you were wrong,
discussions.
you were inaccurate in your invite?
Sir, we were in discussions on some preliminary ideas and amounts that where we need to get to. There were also safety concerns that we're going over. I'm telling you that the first and second priority is the health and well-being of our citizens, and the second is the environmental concerns, which are all included in the
Then put a
pre-negotiation.
moratorium on this development and get a data center ordinance on the books, vote on it, pass it, protect your community, do what each and every one of you were elected
All
to
right,
do.
Tom, thank you.
I'd like to respond to, someone here? No. So that's one. Now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to respond to Mr. Gilmore's second. After, I plan on consulting with our solicitor and our engineer, and I will be proposing a data center ordinance for this township. It'll be based on the Low Hill Township, who currently has a ordinance. You could go to their website and check it out. It's pretty concise, it's pretty thorough. It consists of 23 pages. As I said, I first want to consult with our solicitor and with our township engineer. But I think, as it's been said time and time again, we have to have control of the situation. I'm going to be proposing conditional use for any building that goes up there, as was suggested by our township engineer for the text amendment. It'll give us control. It's pretty thorough. And if you, I suggest everybody go to the site, Low Hill Township, Lehigh County. It's on their website. It consists of 23 pages. It covers everything from aquifers to energy use to environmental issues. And like I said, I'll be proposing that this township adopt an ordinance similar, if not just like this ordinance that Low Hill Township has.
And Justin, what are your thoughts on the Low Hill ordinance?
Yeah, it just so happens that Lower Mount Bethel Township is in the process of putting together a data center ordinance, and Lower Mount Bethel Township actually used the Low Hill Township data center ordinance as a template to model their ordinance after. Low Hill Township's very similar in nature, rural character to Upper Mount Bethel, obviously Lower Mount Bethel, a lot of farmland, some industrial pockets, but it's a very comprehensive ordinance that Low Hill Township has put together and has adopted, I believe, in April. And I believe Lower Mount Bethel Township is pursuing to have that adopted in the next month or so. So,
And are you working on drafting that? Are you,
I assisted on that drafting of that document, yes, with the solicitor from the township.
so that's the man that needs to draft our ordinance. Not, no offense, but not lawyers, but engineers who know the environment, who know the right protections. Or the developer.
And I would hope that every committee in this township will be able to look at this ordinance and comment on it. Economic development, traffic, environmental. Every committee should be able to look at this and have some kind of input. So I said, I hope we can get a turnout in favor of this ordinance, something like we got the turnout that was opposed to the text amendment. I could, but like I said, I want to consult with legal and engineering first. I don't, instead of, we can, like I said, we
He'll
can have,
explain it.
we
He'll
can have,
explain it.
you know, we can have an office hours or a township to the people who know what the ordinance will entail, and then you can attend the committee meetings to see what their input would be.
Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna go until about 8 o'clock. Then we've got township business to get to. Ron, I'll get to you. The gentleman back there. Well, and we also are just said tonight we'll hold that special meeting, and that's where we can do. Courtney, don't yell. Don't yell. We got to be respectful to each other. Go ahead.
My name is Stephen Rex, and I would like everyone to just take a minute, close your eyes, and listen.
Sir, what's your name?
Stephen Rex. Just close your eyes and listen for a moment. This is what we get to live with if this is put in place.
I-58, 59s to 60s.
Sometimes it's really best to just let things speak for themselves.
Thank you. Fran. Oh, and Ron, you're after Fran. Go ahead, Fran.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to live right in almost next door to this data center, and that's my concern. Is the noise.
Can you hold the mic close, please?
Sorry, is the noise and what other health problems we'll have with this. And my question is, has any of you gone down to Virginia to stay and listen to the data centers and talk to the people, not the data center people, but the people who live in those towns and what they are feeling? And are they happy with these data centers? I think you guys need to do that, and you'll have more knowledge. Also, there is a heck of a lot of information out there about data centers and about the problems. And there's like 50 cities in the United States are getting together sometime at the end of July to boycott data centers. So there's too many people who don't want this. It's not just a few. It's not just a little. It's a lot of people all over the United States.
Thank you, Fran. Ron, come on up.
Ron Engel. I was at that meeting, Mr. Coyle, in Lower Mount Bethel Township when they suggested that particular municipal ordinance. And the solicitor at the time, I didn't catch her name, it was a lady, made it very clear that what they had proposed would be restrictive of a data center, and you can't be that restrictive. And I think the governor and the state legislature have even said, if somebody's already got a data center in the works, you simply can't pass an ordinance to obstruct that data center. That's coming from the governor and the state. But I just want to say a couple things. One is the most important thing is I went to the fireworks and the 4th of July celebration. And I know I told the park board personally, but I'd like to repeat it here. It's worth repeating. The park board, the Barbonas family, the Pinter family, Corey Ekman, they were working that refreshment stand, sweat pouring off of them, doing what's right for the township. And that's the kind of stuff I'd like to hear more clapping about, quite frankly. But if I have a disagreement, and I do many times with the supervisors, and I attend every meeting here, by the way, I let you know what my disagreement is. I don't think you've done anything that was out of line so far that I've been able to witness, and I've been at these meetings, about a data center. It's really a bunch of baloney that I can hear. But it's amazing that people done advertising that there was going to be a meeting here tonight about a data center. You didn't schedule a meeting about a data center, did you? That's the game playing that goes on here. And thank you for the opportunity to address you. And again, thank you to the park board and those people who put their time in up there and done a wonderful job.
Go ahead, Judy.
Judy after Ron.
Yeah, you should have waited, Ron. Go ahead. Okay. Can you go back a couple of seconds? Ron's talking to me. Okay. Judith Henkel, longtime resident of Upper Mount Bethel. I am just so glad that so many people finally had caught fire that, hey, data centers, you know what? Because it started out in Lower Mount Bethel and all the information that's floating around there, most of it coming from good sources to just say, here's what's going on. Here's the problems others are having. And so what Ron is saying is true. I know our manager sent out something that local governments have rules and regulations to follow. You can't just willy-nilly do anything. The problem I see is, and this is what was going on, I read about Lower Mount Bethel. I appreciate Supervisor Freeman looking for ordinances, but if we don't get them in time, and even the day before, if the developer, whoever comes in and slaps it down on your planning desk, doesn't matter. The ordinance isn't in place. So this is the cat and mouse game we're playing. And I wanted to speak because it just really bothered me in the last few days. I wanted to talk about all the, and you're going to hear all about data centers, noise, water, all the different things, heat, but about regulations. Developers and people with money, not just developers, big corporations, and here we are with the big tech industries fighting each other to see who's going to be at the top of the hill. And even the financial markets are getting a little worried now that they got out ahead of themselves. It's like the gold rush. Who can get there and get the most land, get the commitments for these buildings and whatever. And maybe we'll figure out how to make them less noisy, use less water, whatever. So my concern is regulations. A lot of people think that's protection. There's a lot of ordinance and protections we have, but others look at deregulation. That's the big buzzword in the last Trump administration, the two of them. I wasn't going to, but in any case, what I want to do is one word can change the whole thing. And this was the Endangered Species Act just in the last few days. They changed the definition of the word harm. Harm no longer means the habitat, the home that these animals live in. It means either you injure or kill it, that's against the law. Anything else, how come there's no more osprey nests down on RPL? You can kind of do away with getting them out of where they are. And I want to then project that onto all of us, because as humans, we are just another mammal on this planet Earth. So to me, I don't want corporations coming in here and people that only looking at profit and dollars and cents and doing the same thing to us, changing the wording, changing the ordinance, telling us how great it is, and then basically leaving us as collateral damage. Our quality of life here is too important. I don't want to be considered another corporate roadkill. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Anyone else? Is that Rich?
Rich Klingel. This has gone back a long time ago, and even Larry Hallett was in this, one of them chairs there, that the citizens of this township were forced to put up with tar and chip on our roads. So at one of your previous meetings, 4 of the 5 went and gave Nick the authority to go about a funding to do Saddle Creek's all their roads up there. Did any of you 4 look at those roads up there? Did you travel through there?
As a liaison, I have traveled with our manager and with with our road foreman.
All right. How many potholes were there? How many places was the roads like damaged that it had to be fixed?
I didn't keep time.
Oh.
You inspected the road.
Oh, you didn't inspect it, but you gave the authority for him to go and get funding for $1.2 million. Right after church yesterday, we got on Johnsonsville Road. When we turned there on 5 Points, from 5 Points down to Johnsonsville Inn, there are more areas that the road is split and more potholes than there is in all of Saddle Creek. See, because me being a taxpayer, I did drive through all there. And I can't see how you guys can say we need it repaved. That we can't chip and we can't tar it, we got to repave it for $1.2 million. How is that possible?
I'm taking advice of my manager and my road crew for
Okay.
me. And they say that's what we need.
Okay. Did we elect them or did we elect you
When in
to be
charge,
coffins of our money? We didn't elect him and we didn't elect Manzi. We elected you to be coffers of our money and not to waste it. And that's what you guys are doing.
in
At
your opinion-
$1.2
your
million
opinion.
dollars, my opinion, what were you elected for? Just to sit there and be stupid and just spend money?
There's not going to be insults, Rich. No insults. Anyone else? Public comment.
I'll just keep my mouth
All
shut.
right, moving on.
Please.
Next up are announcements. Supervisor Ekman.
None at this time.
Supervisor Erler.
I'd like to thank the auditors for the memorial for the Liberty Tree and the plaque that was created. It is very nice. Although I had other obligations during that time frame, I did take a look at it after, and it's very nice. I would like to say, continuing on from the data center discussions, that this past Monday the 6th, Supervisor Birmingham, Mr. Graziano, and myself met with Slate Belt Holdings to continue discussions on the future of the I-2, I-3 industrial zone. It was a productive meeting, and we've heard many of your concerns and are continuing cautiously with the safety of our residents and the preservation of our township as our first and second priorities. We are not ready to release any details as nothing is set in stone, but we strongly believe that we are on the best path for our township and its future. And that's all I have.
Okay, just Supervisor Albert.
The only thing I want to say is this on. It doesn't matter. The only thing I really want to say is, if you guys remember, on July 2nd this year, July 3rd, and July 4th, we had some unprecedented storms that rolled across Pennsylvania and New Jersey, North New Jersey. We had, between PA and New Jersey, we had over 300,000 people out. These storms popped up out of nowhere. And the Parks and Rec Board, I wasn't there because obviously I was stuck with the storms, but the Parks and Rec Board worked through it. On Friday night, they had to go back, get the tents and everything set up because they all blew over in the first storm. Then they came back out on Saturday and they did everything they could. And it was from my friends that were there, they said it was a great show, Stavros. Everybody enjoyed it. As chairman of Parks and Rec, sometimes I think we take some negative comments and we take it to heart. What you do, just ignore the negative comments. You guys do a great job. Continue to do the great job everybody does on that board and the volunteers at the park, and make the next show bigger and better. So that's all I want to say.
Well said. Supervisor Friedman.
Just to follow up on Mr. Albertson, that everybody did a great job, from the guys parking their cars to everybody who had to clean up. And I think it was a good show in spite of the short, intense, time-delayed fireworks. So,
thank you, Supervisor Friedman. The applause at the end were big. They weren't small. So, great job, Park and Rec. Just a couple of updates. The bids went out for the Mount Bethel Emergency Shelter. There was a pre-bid meeting last week, and they have 2 weeks in which to submit the bid, a bid, and then the bids will be open. So I'll keep you updated on that. The 4th of July parade, the Portland Upper Mount Bethel 4th of July Parade Committee announced the winners of Best Decorated Patriotic Vehicles and best decorated patriotic homes. And I put the winners up on my supervisor Facebook page if you want to go take a look. The firefighter coloring book is coming out in August, and it'll be available here at the Township building. It's a free book. We do ask for donations of any amount, which will go to the Mount Bethel Fire Company and the North Bangor Fire Company. They split the proceeds 50-50. Retirement of the Colors, which is hosted by the American Legion in Johnsonville. That is August 9th, and I will get you the time at our next meeting. And then we're going to do a cleanup day, Upper Mount Bethel cleanup day, Saturday, August 15th. We'll meet here at the Township building at 9 a.m., and we're going to go look at Riverton Road. So right now, that's the one I passed where I've seen a tremendous amount of trash. So we'll go take care of that. Bo's Playground, which is at Mount Bethel Church. They had their opening ceremony June 28th. It's in memory of Bo Kelly. And it is now open for public use, so you can bring your kids. It doesn't get as windy as it does up at the park, and it's a much closer environment. So if you got kids who tend to run away or veer off, check out Bo's Playground at Mount Bethel Church. And went to the wet down that was hosted by Mount Bethel Fire Company. That was a great event that they did. And I do have office hours coming in August. I don't have a date yet, but now that we're going to be looking at this data center, whether it's a special meeting or however, we'll go forward, I'll make an announcement, and maybe either that'll be my office hours, just give me a day or two to think about how to put it together. Nick, announcements.
Yes, Mr. Chair. A lot of this is repetitive, but I want to get my two. Can you hear me now? Guess we need a new mic. Hello. There you go. A lot of this is repetitive, but I want to get my 2 cents in for the announcements. July 4th, as always, I'd like to thank Peggy and John Post for their endless support for providing the funding for the July 4th and Veterans Day fireworks. This community appreciates your commitment to our beautiful park. I want to thank our volunteer firemen for helping with traffic control, Mount Bethel Fire Department, North Bangor, and Portland. You guys and girls did a fantastic job as always. We really appreciate your community efforts and your volunteering. We really appreciate it. Our volunteers from our community who make this July 4th that helped out make this event successful every year: Randy Crane, Mike Hudak, all our road crew, especially Nick and Donnie, Lynn Manzi for his emergency management planning of the event with Cindy to keep us safe. The EAC and the Open Space Advisory Board volunteers who ran informational booths to explain to the residents what each committee is committed to for our township regarding open space and the environment. We want to thank you for doing that. You took your time out for that. And our Park and Rec Board for the endless meetings to make this a fun and safe event for the community. They work so hard prepping for this event, and they're working at the Park and Rec tent, selling food to the people gathered at the park. The whole Barbonas family was there. Cindy, Jen, her son, Corey, and her nephew, Orion, Marty, and Karen Pinter, and Sharon. We thank you all for your hard work and your commitment to the success of this evening. We really appreciate all your help, your work, and your help. It's a long day, long night. I also want to thank all the participants of the 4th of July parade, all the families along the route that showed your patriotism and our support of our 250th birthday of our nation. It was a fun day. I personally enjoyed seeing all of you out there and continue to reinforce that we live in a very special community where all come out to support each other. Also like to thank a local business, B&B Industries, Alexandria and Brian, for bringing their crane to the parade in the park to proudly fly the American flag and donating 10 cases of water to the township. We always appreciate our local businesses who gave back to our community. We thank you, just as we thank the Pector family, who Mr. Baltic mentioned about the Liberty Elm Tree, 6 maple trees, and insulation for the township park. They donated everything to the park. We really appreciate our companies and our businesses that give back to our community. Finally, I'd like to thank all the people who have contacted me for supporting what we have done in our park with the addition of the bathrooms, new softball fields, and soon to be open pickleball courts. We hope this week, which should be open by this Thursday. We are not done yet. Park and Rec and the township will be holding a public meeting on July 28th to discuss the master plan site for the park. All are invited. Reading the social media posts on our website, we have a lot of opinions and that we should do this. This is your chance to voice your opinion to the contractor who was hired to create the master plan, Simone Collins. And lastly, I'd like to just remind everybody now that July 4th is that we're going to start pumping up our 5K run and our 1 mile walk October 3rd at the park on Potomac Street. Go to the UMB website. Your first thing you'll see is the advertisement. There's a scanned QR code, and you can go there, just scan that and sign up. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Nick. Okay, moving on, we have the consent agenda. The consent agenda has the June 8th, 2026 meeting minutes, June 22nd, 2026 workshop meeting minutes, and exonerations and refunds. Does any supervisor want to remove any of those items from the consent agenda? Okay, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Nick, bill list.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The general fund, we spent $80,025.24. Interim bills was $93,109.79. The rec fund was $682.47. Interim bills, $22,946.94. EIT open space fund, $8,341.22. And for a total of $205,105.66. Mr. Chair, I'd like to get a motion to pay the bills.
Okay, is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a short question of why the expenditure out of the rec fund was $682 when Mr. Barbona said that it was about $40,000 that was spent out of it.
40,000.
The donations.
Some of the fireworks were paid for ahead of time. So we had a 60%, 65% deposit that was paid maybe 2 months ago. And then
it was 18,000, I think.
The residual was 11,950, I believe, which was about 2 weeks ago. It wasn't part of this bill list. It would have been part of the prior bill list.
All right. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, with that being said, there's a motion on the floor to pay the bills. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
David, Public Works backhoe purchase.
Yes, our current backhoe, which is a 2015 with 4,804 hours on it, starting to show its age. We've been looking at two, a Cat and a John Deere. We've had both of them down here for demo purposes. The road crew has used both of them. The mechanics have looked at it, the manager, myself, and my road crew foreman. And we've come to the opinion that we think we should be getting the John Deere. We've had service issues with Cat. We recently had, it broke down and there were some service issues getting it. We have to have that machine. We can't wait for it to be serviced and repaired. Like I said, it's one of the most used machines that we have. The purchase price for the John Deere would be $125,500. This is a replacement. It is not a new machine. So I don't know if Nick would want to talk to it, or if Lynn Manzi would want to talk to it. But we do need a new backhoe.
If I may, Mr. Chair, just to add on to Supervisor Friedman, the selling price of the John Deere is $169,500, but also the trade-in value of our cat, it's the 2015, has over 4,000 hours. It's 44,000 according to John Deere. We're proposing again to put it onto municipal bid and get more money, because obviously if they're giving us 44, we could probably get 54. But we've always had a good success with that. So the total cost to the township would be $125,500 for the new John Deere tractor. It's a new one. The cat one was a leftover 2025. This will possibly be a 2027. Depending on if the board decides to go forward this, it takes 5 to 6 months for it to be produced. So if it comes out in 2027 and after January, it'll be a 2027, which will add on the value later on 10, 15 years from now, because it will be a newer model than a 2025. It just so happens that it worked out where we had the two vehicles, the cat, and we had the John Deere tractor for a demo, because the cat broke down. So it was fortunate that we didn't have to go out and rent. We spent like $5,000 on the cat to fix that, because we need the tractor. And right now we're waiting for a part for the John Deere tractor. The emergency brake isn't working correctly, so it's starting to fall apart. We can get value out of it right now. It's 11 years old now. It's been used as 4,000 hours. If you decide you don't want to do it, things just go in opposite directions. The price of the new unit goes up and the price of the our unit will go down. So they're going to go in opposite directions. So again, here we are. It's up to the township board of supervisors what they want to do, but we're making a recommendation that we do this for the township. That's our number one priority, is taking care of the roads.
Any questions from the supervisors?
I would just like to say that I'm not opposed to replacing. What I am opposed, or what I am concerned with, is accounting. That it is true that we must be able to maintain our township and its roads, and our road crew must have the proper equipment to do so. But a question that keeps popping up by our residents is how we're able to continually spend on our road crew. So I would like to break down something from a little digging that I've done to answer that question. And keep in mind that I am not the treasurer, and I've only been on this board for 3 years. But I think this needs to be made public knowledge. At the end of 2022, the chairman and then treasurer emptied the township's operational reserves. That is the account that was built up by past boards in case of an emergency, which was around $1.6 million, just short of the entirety, was moved into the capital reserve fund. That fund is meant for building repairs, and long-term assets. Much like refitting Eastern Industries that is constantly under discussion, the new municipal building that was proposed, and now there's talks of the Township Recreation Center, which I actually support. That was done without a motion from the board, which is generally legally required. Then the combination amount of $2.2 million that was used to purchase a fleet of new township trucks. Some of those trucks were sold because they were not needed, and the money was returned to the capital fund around June of 2024. But with that precedent set, other road crew machinery continued to be purchased out of the capital reserve fund and not the machinery fund, a fund which was and intended for capital expenditures only, not on equipment that it depreciates like trucks, unless specified by a motion that it is an urgent necessity, because the account was not designed to do so when the fund was created, and it was never altered. Since the capital reserve was utilized instead of the machinery funds for trucks and machines, our machinery fund has grown to over $1 million with a $650,000 investment in a treasury note for added income. This fund has a mechanism, the machinery fund has a mechanism for constant allotment of taxes. The capital reserve and the operational reserve do not. Our capital reserve fund is currently at $46,000 and has not received funding since early 2021, besides the sale of the excess machinery. Our operational reserve is currently at $161,000 from $1.6 million and was stagnant at $7,500 until I made the motion at the end of last year to begin funding it. A motion that was remade to a lesser amount by Supervisor Ekman and thankfully passed. So I agree that we do need to ensure our road crew has the means to maintain our township. But is it urgent? Does the current backhoe still work well? Instead, I'd like to focus on replacing the township residents' confidence and security back into those counts as it is overdue, especially with the proposed capital projects on the horizon. As for the operational reserve, consider our focus, Mr. Chairman, on an emergency shelter at the firehouse and the fact that the township lacks specifically designed funds to deal with whatever emergency would require its use. We need to remedy this
Mr.
before
Chair,
more
can
discussion
we-
on the road crew machinery.
Can we get back to my proposal here? This is way off base. This
So-
should have been brought up at a different subject, at a different agenda item.
I make the motion to table the vote on the brand new backhoe until those accounts are made whole.
So, all right, first we need to see if his motion gets a second.
If you need me to speak, Mr. Chair, I can.
Yeah.
You didn't even speak to my motion yet.
You didn't get to a motion.
No, I didn't get a chance.
Well,
We'll go with Mr. Earler's motion.
okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Okay, there's no second. David, do you want to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we purchase the John Deere backhoe for the amount of $125,500, which may be less if we put this on municipal bid and get more than the trade-in value of $44,000.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, motion on the floor. It's been seconded. Any discussion from the supervisors?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. You say you want to put it on municipal bid.
Mm-hmm.
You say we can get more. What if we don't get more on municipal bid? Will they still take the 44,000 trade-in?
Good question, yes. 44,000. That's their.
That's their offer now is
that's their
44,000
offer.
on the trade-in. but
Correct. And
If we
plus,
get less,
if
they'll
I may,
take it.
yeah, if I
Okay.
may add to this, Mr. Chair, there's also a maintenance, an extended maintenance, very comprehensive. There's a PM also, which is 48 months or 2,000 hours, full package. That's included in the cost, and an extended warranty of 84 total months or 4,000 total hours with a $200 deductible. That's what basically like unheard of that we got that. And I give a lot of credit to Lynn because Lynn Manzi, because I put him to task on this and he came across with Cat and John Deere and this cost a lot more than what it was, and I give him a lot of credit for negotiating it down and helping us get it down. So
Also, did you look at a lease program instead?
here's a deal with lease programs. Okay, so a lease, a conventional lease, as you and I would get if we bought our car, that's not what the township gets. Government leases are loans that you own the vehicle at the end. Basically, our fire truck is the only lease that we have. It's the only debt that we have. Correct myself. There's two. North Bangor, we have one more payment left, and then that's paid for. We own it. It was a lease, but we own it. You own it at the end of that lease. We have a lease now with our new engine for Mount Bethel. That's the only leases that we have. Second, I've had a lot of discussions with our accountant, our auditor, and we have the money to pay for this. If you go out and take a lease, you're paying 7% interest on it, so the cost of it is going to be higher, and you're still going to own it at the end, but you paid another 40, 50, 60,000 just throwing numbers out at that unit.
Yeah.
Okay. But you own that unit.
Yep.
So
And
that's about leasing.
Yeah, and I have one last question. If you had to make a summary of what it's costing us right now and working on that week after week after week, what do you estimate it?
Well, this year it started to show its true colors. We brought it down to CAT. They charged us an exorbitant amount of money just to get here and go back. They charged us $5.60 per mile to get here, but then they also tacked on a $600 charge for fuel. It was down in Allentown. We paid for 3 gas tanks for them. We took it down there. We got it back in 2 days. It didn't work. The air conditioning didn't work, so we had to get it fixed locally. So we spent about $5,000 on it to get it working. That the backhoe is another tool here that you don't lease, you buy. We use it almost every day. So, and we just want to make sure that for our residents, a tree comes down, winter comes, whatever, we need to have that equipment here. And that's what the machinery fund is for.
I mean, we don't take a purchase of this lightly. Lynn did a lot of work researching both machines, and he came up with a good deal with the John Deere. We just don't spend the money willy-nilly. I mean, it's something, like I said, we need, and now is the time to get it in while you can still get some money out of it. If we use it until it just doesn't work anymore, we're going to be in dire need of a new backhoe, and it's going to probably be much more, because we're getting a 27 with the John Deere, whereas the Cat was a demo leftover.
Marty.
Can I, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Can I just speak to what Mr. Erler was saying about before about the fund?
Yeah. Give us 1 second, Marty.
So,
go ahead.
Is Marty talking? Oh, no, I'm sorry. So that when that fund was changed over to how it was done, I wasn't involved with that, how it was done. $1.9 million for the machine. Once that money was put into the capital fund account and we used it for trucks at that meeting, that fund became a machinery fund, not a capital. A capital fund is designated by this board or the previous board. You designate what that capital fund is for. I went over this with our auditor, and I asked her, because when I found out about the 1.9 million, we moved it back and forth and everything. How it was done, I wasn't there, so I can't say how it was, what's the proper way it was done. But that money, that moving forward, I've taken money that we bought, and this has been on record in many minutes in this red. Anytime we bought something, I was saying that we're going to take the money, put it in the capital reserve fund, and use it for other machinery, because that's what that fund was designated as. This board has the right to change that, and our solicitor can address to that. If you want to designate that as capital fund for a building, fine. That's your prerogative. That's your powers. I do what the board tells me to do. That fund, after Marty left, or former Chairman Pinto left, that was designated as, because we were paying the funds that when he left, that we didn't have the trucks yet. We were buying those trucks out of that fund and paying them as they came in. So that fund was set up for it. And buying vehicles from here for 3 years, this board has approved it out of that fund. I've been fully transparent. You tell me to do something and I do it. And that's what we did. So no one did anything nefarious. That account was supposed to be for machinery, and it is designated for machinery. You have the power to change that. I just want to make sure that was that's addressed.
I would like to retort. There was never a motion made to make that into a machinery fund. It does go by law that when machinery gets sold, you can put it into it.
I understand.
But
exactly
expenditures
what you're saying,
from that account, being trucks, would require motions, as it's not written when the fund was created. I mean, we're getting so far off of larger trucks. The Polaris Ranger was purchased out of that account. A bucket with teeth was purchased out of that. The forks, and as well as rentals. Rentals were purchased out of that. And I have a list of almost $600,000 of things that were just spent out of that account since I've been on this board.
And that's all machinery. That's why that was bought from there. Anything machinery.
But we have a machinery fund.
Yes, we do. But that supplemented it. I have the same list that you have.
All right, Marty, come on up.
Marty Penner, Upper Mount Bethel Township. I just wanted to go, John, just give you a little history of the account, why we did that and why we started it up. So back when I was the chairman as well as the treasurer of the township, the trucks, as you know, were completely close to 20, a little over 20 years old. We did not have enough money if we were going to forecast the purchase of these trucks. We started looking at them my first year here. Road machinery, with the taxable rates that were coming in from the state, we never, ever would have had enough money to purchase those trucks at that time. So I went to our auditor and said, I want to set up a capital expenditure for those trucks. What we did is every year that we had a surplus of the budget, whether it was 300,000, 200,000, based on our budget that we had passed, that surplus went into that fund to help fund that. Okay. What that also did is it gave the township manager and the road crew the ability to still utilize the road machinery fund for, I'll say, the accessory expenses, whether it's a bucket or a repair or anything like that. So really, I think one of the things that you can do is anything in that fund needs to be, or anything spent out of that fund, which you guys can change by motion, needs to hit a certain dollar threshold. Could be 5,000, could be 10,000, because there are definitions, at least in regards to GAAP accounting, what constitutes a capital expenditure. Okay, I'll leave it up to you.
Would you
guys
say
to
that a
figure
rental
that.
is considered a capital expenditure?
If I was the treasurer at that time, or at this time, that would have come out of road machinery for me, because that is typical operational.
I agree.
That's not a capital. It's an operational expense, which should be caught within the budget, which the budget does cost or capitalize, no pun intended there, on the operational expenses of the township. So I just wanted to get up to clarify that. Now, any of you can ask me anything you want regarding finance, fiscal. I'll help you guys out. Absolutely no problems in regards to that. That's what I do on a daily basis. Okay. So I just have a couple of questions for Nick, because we're going to be changing from a Cat to a John Deere. I know that's a IT implement machine. How many more implements are we going to have to buy for the John Deere that are fitting the, I know the sweeper will probably be able to fit that, but what other implements are we going to have to change over?
Not everything that we have, Marty, will fit this John Deere tractor. So the sweeper that we have, and we're going to be adding the claw, the back, the grappler in the back, that's coming with it. So we'd have to do, and all of the buckets fit it.
Okay, so they're interchangeable.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
There's no other expense.
Okay. Now, to me, Nick and I are always at odds with this. Okay, because I look at the township in regards to cash flow, like a business. Okay, but our cash flow comes from taxes. Okay. To me, I would lease this machine. I absolutely, hands down, would lease it. I don't give a crap what the auditor says. The auditor does not run this township. You guys do. Okay. The reason for that, it's 11 years old. It's got 4,000 hours on it. 4,000 hours in 11 years is actually 4,015 hours. That's an hour a day that machine gets utilized. Okay. Now, if I was running a business, I'd never buy it. I'd rent it, because an hour of utilization is a horrible ROI on investment, at least in my eyes. Completely different picture, because we're a municipality. Okay.
But that machine, other than having to buy an additional maintenance program or anything else, will always be under warranty. Always. Now, we've had issues with that backhoe in the past because we use it like a race car around here. They're driving it all around the township. The transmissions are not built for that. CAT does make a transmission for that. It's called a load and carry. It's actually made to be doing that. We just need to make sure that the John Deere has that same option, or you guys will be looking at transmission issues in the future because they drive it around. They don't put it on a flatbed or a lowboy and move it around. All right. So let's head off some maintenance things in the future by at least speccing this machine out correctly. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Is Lynn, are you still here? Yeah. You want to come up? And thank you for all the research on this and want to get your thoughts.
Well, I'm always looking out for the municipality, as you know. Somebody might not think that, but it's very true. It's a machine that we use constantly, especially with all these trees that are coming down. Last week, we had it out on a big tree on Reimer Road. The machine breaks down. It's not good. We try to keep it running. We try to keep it maintained. It's closer to 4,800 hours that it's on the machine. Actually, a little over 4,800 hours. The way I look at it, and I see Marty's view, he's very good at financial figures. However, I think we have to act on, we're going to get a good dollar for the machine, possibly more if we put it on municipal bid. There's no loss there. We don't have to sell it on municipal bid. We can put it on there. If we get more money, that's great. If we don't have to sell it. So the machine's going to it'll take about 5 months to even get the machine from John Deere. However, Marty mentioned about the transmissions. We did look, John Deere seems to have a pretty decent transmission. And yes, we do run it over the road. We do that for many reasons. One, time frame. It's a lot quicker to run it to get a tree than it is to bring the crew in, to get the truck and trailer, get it loaded up. And the other problem with that is I don't always have a Class A driver that can haul with a truck and trailer. Some of them only have Class B licenses. So if that operator isn't here to run the truck and trailer, that could be another issue. And it also creates a lot of time. When you're incoming on a tree that's down across the road, there's really no place to go with a truck and trailer. So that's usually in the way. There's a little more tire wear. There's a little more wear on the tractor. We are getting a good warranty with a tractor that we're proposing. I just think it's a good time to do it because the packages that they're giving us. Our machine is working. We had it in the garage today. We had it like Nick mentioned earlier. We had a problem with the emergency brake. We had it tied up with a wire tie to make it work. The tractor wouldn't move. So we did get that fixed today on our own, but we have spent $5,000 in the past couple weeks on the tractor. It's starting to show wear, starting to show rust. I really think, again, I'm not always for new stuff. Honestly, I really like that machine, but I think it's the time to get rid of it because it's like the last dump truck we sold. We got peanuts for it because we ran it till it wouldn't run anymore. We got hardly anything for the truck. And new trucks, just like Nick said, you have that balancing. The truck, the value of the new ones go up and the resale of the used keep going down. And pretty soon, you're left with nothing at the end. And we still need that machine. So being it's, over 11 years old, just my opinion. And again, I really, truly, really like that machine, but I really think that it's time that we should upgrade it. We have the money in that fund. And any other questions that I can help you with? Yes, and as far as the implements, everything is universal. We looked at that really heavy because I was concerned. The forks, the backhoe, or the broom, the buckets, everything is universal fit now on that, and we made sure of that. So if there's any questions I can answer, I'd be glad to. But we researched it, quite a bit.
Great.
3 months.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Rich, come on up.
What does the backhoe usually do right now? What are you using it for?
See, everything, Rich.
Well, I mean, you
Digging
got this-
ditches, grappling trees that come down, road work, digging pipe work.
all right, but you got the sweeper on there, right?
Yeah, it also sweeps. Yep,
All right.
absolutely. It's our sweeper.
So wouldn't you say that's probably what's being used the most is the sweeper?
No,
I don't know. Every time I see it going down the road, it's sweeping.
we use it a lot, but at certain times of the year, yeah.
All right. Well, you had a tractor that had that arm on it there to cut brush. That's what that was used for. Why did we get rid of it? Because you know as well as I do now, the hours are going to go up on it because you're running around the road 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day.
We're talking about the mower that the John Deere mower.
Now the one that the one with the implement to cut brush on the side of the roads.
The Ford 5000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 50 years old.
All right, but it still ran, right?
I don't know. Charles is still running. Charles bought it. I don't know.
Yeah, he likes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
So
was more than a safety issue too, as well. It wasn't just it was 50 years old. But we're going to be renting another mower after we do our road paving, and we're going to rent another. We're not buying another one. We're renting one.
all right, so why don't we take that sweeper and put it on that tractor and keep the miles down and the wear and tear on those tires on the backhoe?
Put it on the John Deere tractor.
Yeah, the one that we're renting.
You're talking about the boom mower?
Yeah.
No, that boom mower works all day long. We use that every day, Rich. We have 44 square miles here. One tractor can't handle it. Ask Mr. Birmingham how many phone calls we got about the brush and the line of sights.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I have Brock in there every day now. We had Nick Natoli in there every day, and it's still not enough. We need two. But I will be we'll be renting one. So it'll be a tag team to get everything done before the fall sets in when everything starts dying. That's not what that tractor works every day. We just fixed the boom on it too. I mean, that we're talking, we might have to replace that, but we're not going to replace the tractor. The tractor's in good shape.
All right.
We're not using that as we need, that thing works every day.
All right, but you ask any kind of contractor that spends that kind of money buying equipment like that, 5,000 hours isn't much for a tractor like that.
I agree. I mean, I agree, but this is a municipality. So you have a truck that has 60,000 miles on it that if XYZ company owned it, that truck would probably go for $180,000. But a truck from a municipality that's plowing and working and salt and this and that, you're lucky to get $25,000 for that same truck. It's a whole different animal. You don't compare both. And plus, a company can depreciate and lease and deduct that. We don't do that. We don't pay taxes. So it's a whole different bowl. You're not comparing apples to apples.
Why don't you guys talk about it offline?
No, because I ain't going to talk unless it's at a meeting like this, because just like everything else with this municipality, stuff gets swept under the rug and there's secret meetings.
He's met with you. He's met with you, Rich. Marty.
You and I, Rich. Anyway.
I just failed to mention, Nick, about the mower, the boom mower.
The boom mower.
There's a new piece of equipment out that we've actually utilized over the past couple of years. It's a company called Max Mower.
Oh,
MAX
we were talking
Mower.
about
Okay, it's specifically what it's used for is just that mowing, and there are other attachments that you can get for it. You can get a broom for the front of it,
Yeah.
a real wide broom and that's what it's made for. It's made for sweeping and mowing. They make a blower for the front to blow all the crap off the road and everything.
Could you send that to me? We talked about that.
I'll text it to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, Tom Nelson, ATVs. Wow, that was long.
Good evening. My name is Tom Nelson. I've lived here for 34 years at 7 Allegheny Road. I'm here tonight to talk about the ATV noise. My neighbor is here, Kevin. He's not a bad human being. He just has no respect for my property value or my quality of life. So my first question to this board is, what is the requirement for filing a noise complaint? I was told originally it has to be from two separate people. Now you're saying, Nick, that maybe it doesn't. My question is, if it doesn't, what do you do when there's only two people? And one person is having a problem, but they need two complaints. If it can come from the same person, I just filed another one this morning.
We leave it up to our solicitor. You know, I mean, if it's one person complaining, that's more of a civil suit and the township stays out of it. But Ron, why don't you comment when, you know, like the Stein issue, when there's a whole boatload of people?
All right. Mr. Nelson is concerned, from what I understand, as to the noise and the denial of his quiet enjoyment of his property by his neighbor. I have recommended the township before many times that if it's a neighbor versus neighbor dispute, the township should not get involved in that. The neighbor has a right to file a private nuisance claim against the offending neighbor and has a right to take that action rather than the township waving that banner because it's only one person. Now, Stein Zuppeth, there were numbers of people that came to complain, and that's another story. Now you have the public. Not that Mr. Nelson isn't the public, but you have a number of public people coming in to complain. And at that point, the township said, okay, we need to do something about this. And you authorized me to file a complaint with respect to the burning incident. And in fact, that case is still going on. The problem with the noise ordinance, which is in effect, and I agree with Mr. Nelson, that if there's a violation of the noise ordinance, it should be enforced. However, we don't have the certified operator yet to be able to enforce the noise ordinance. I don't believe we have the proper equipment
Yes,
to
you do.
enforce the noise ordinance. And now I'm told that you can do decibel readings on your phone, etc. But I could tell you, I was in Monroe County Court on this exact issue, and the Monroe County judge said, I'm not hearing anything about cell phones. I want a certified, properly approved machine or equipment and a certified operator in order to be able to say this is occurring. Now, that should be done because Mr. Nelson his complaints are hanging out there unaddressed because we don't have that yet. And I think, you know, obviously the township should consider doing that. And I understand that there's concerns with money, et cetera, listening to what occurred here this evening on just a couple of items. But until you do that, you're not going to be able to do much with this noise ordinance. And that really would not be fair to people who are having violations of the noise ordinance occurring. Now, I think that Ms. Bettina Serfoss, the zoning officer, did send a letter to Mr. I think it's Hanlon, if I'm not mistaken. But whether or not he's going to listen to it or not, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if he's using his property for ATVs, etc., he can do that. But if he's disturbing the neighbor could then say, no, what you're doing is a nuisance. I'm going to file in court against you, and I'm going to report the matter to the township for a noise ordinance violation. That's what he's got to do. Other than that, he's just out there swinging.
Nick?
After our meeting, Ron, I did do some research with a company that does actually have certified machinery. But to be clarified, the machinery that we could rent machinery, we have the equipment. I don't know if it works properly. That's definitely past my forte. I have no idea. We took it out. It does read, but there's two different units on it. I would have to give it to somebody that has actually an expertise on it. But I did contact a company out of New York that does rent the equipment that is certified. It's $400 a week. But again, do we have to have a certified person holding a certified machinery for a judge to say, hey, it's done properly?
I think if you want to win, the answer is yes. So if you want to roll the dice and say, we have an approved equipment, but we'll have our zoning officer do it. You can do that. But if I'm trying that case, I want a certified operator with certified equipment because then I know I'm going to win because I don't want to go to court and lose.
All right, that'll be my next question to him. I'll ask him tomorrow about maybe they could provide somebody that is certified. Or how do we get certified?
And if we have equipment, they can maybe look at it and say, is it okay?
Right.
I mean, if you're telling me we have equipment,
We
but
do.
you're not sure if it works, we don't know if it's certified,
Well,
that doesn't help us. We've got to know those
The
answers.
mobile unit did work. We took it out and it worked. It picked up the readings. But again, I don't know if it has to be recalibrated. How many is it?
We need to know that because any lawyer on the other side of the case will be asking those exact
I
questions.
will follow up on that, Mr. Chair. I'll follow up on that
Okay.
as well. Take our solicitor's advice.
All right. If I could get back to the discussion. So when we live in close proximity to one another, there are things we expect to listen to. Lawnmowers, grass trimmers, leaf blowers, leaf vacs, snow blowers, chainsaws, the occasional construction project on our houses. All these are normal sounds. ATVs and dirt bikes have no place in a residential neighborhood. Okay, the statute, I believe, says 65 decibels at the property line from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and 55 overnight. Okay, ATVs are 85 to 115 decibels. And we're not just talking one, we're talking a dozen, 8, 10, 11, plus 3 or 4 dirt bikes thrown in. I can't even escape the sound in my own home. Okay? Now, I tried to deal with the soil erosion that's going on in Kevin's property. And Kevin's not a bad human being. I actually like Kevin. We had a conversation, 3 weeks ago about end of life. Your father's in a bad way. My friend Jim just died. He's not a bad person. He just has no respect for my quality of life. So I called the DEP. Oh, sorry. It's not a construction site. I called the DCNR. It's not a state park. I called Northampton County Conservation District. Unless it's on state land, we can't help you. I called the Fish Commission. He actually came out. I walked out to the property. I showed him. He said, well, yeah, this is terrible. Look at all the soil erosion. He's got 10 trails that go from the stream bed straight up a 40 to 60 degree angle embankment, torn down to the bare dirt. Every time it rains, we're getting soil erosion right into the creek. No one cares. Not one agency cares. But I did learn that we're kind of the laughing stock of Northampton County because every time I said to these people, well, I live in Upper Mount Bethel Township, they would always say, oh, you guys are kind of the Wild West up there. Okay? So we have a reputation and it's not good. Now, I've witnessed some amazing things in this township. I was working on the Slate Belt Museum, restoring the tower with Jim Dietrich. I watched about a 12-year-old boy, no helmet, no shirt, pop a wheelie at Dutch Transmission, ride down the double yellow, passing cars on both sides, all the way until he was past Dollar General. I've watched one of Kevin's buddies pull into Kevin's driveway, go like this, and take off behind his house. There was a 4-year-old girl who started running toward Allegheny Road. I started counting 91 seconds until the father came around calling for this little girl. She could have run out into the road. She could have been killed. I see girls the last 3 days, no helmets, riding down Allegheny Road, right behind cars. They couldn't have been 12 years old, holding onto the back with their legs out like this, right on the bumper of a car. Why do I care more about people's children than they seem to care about themselves? Why would you let a teenager, 12, 13, 14, ride a four-wheeler on the roadway? You would never give them a 16-year-old a car that had no brake lights, no turning signals, no headlights, and no protection, would you? Of course not. Why would you put them on a four-wheeler? It's inconceivable to me.
Well, Tom, the only thing we can do is what Nick is saying. You know, all the other stuff. You know, that's.
Okay.
I'm not going
I'd like to. I understand what you're saying. I would ask. We have a state trooper here tonight. Thank you for coming. Is it unreasonable to identify who the riders are and to have the state police go by calmly and address the parents and let them know, one, it's illegal, two, you're putting your kid's life at risk, and try to save a life? I don't want them to chase kids. Kids make dumb decisions.
We can't ask the state police to do that. The state police handles their own investigations.
That's fine.
The state police have been patrolling the roads that they have jurisdiction on, which is 611 and 512, and they have been pulling over people regularly lately. But this occurrence is on his own property, is what the original issue is. And unless he's violating any ordinance, and we need proof of that.
Right. Well, I've got lots of videos.
He does have the right.
Happy to show them to you.
When you said it's 85 decibels to 100 decibels, that's at the machine, and our ordinance is at the property line.
Right. You want to hear some video? I'll play some for you. You know what 12 four-wheelers sounds like? I'm in my house in bed, and I can hear four-wheelers. Understand? I mean, who's going to buy my property? Anybody want to buy it? It's just appraised at $875,000. I don't think I can sell it. Imagine I sell my property, deceive someone into thinking they bought paradise. They're out on the new deck, looking out over the waterfall, beautiful sound of the water, and here comes Kevin in 12 ATVs. You imagine how you would feel if you bought that property? Why have morals? I'm not going to sell that and put someone in that position. I'd like you to stop.
All right. Bring it up here, Tom.
For about 3 weeks, the reason I didn't come to the last meeting is for about 3 weeks he rode at the other end of his property. There were only 3 of them. One of them was so quiet I couldn't even hear it. If that's the way it's going to be, fine. I can live with that, but it's never stopped. Nick, you came, you heard it. There were dirt bikes all over. He didn't even seem to know who the dirt bike drivers were. They just, I don't know, did they just show up? Blasting music the last 4 nights. Blasting music. One night I sent him a text, Kevin, can you lower the music? I'll let him know. So somebody who wasn't even Kevin is blasting music. My neighbors across the road can hear it. And they're afraid to file a complaint. They're afraid their tires will be slashed. Their mailbox will be smashed. And that's more people down the road feel the same way. So I get no relief from this.
So we'll
you have the equipment. You want somebody I'll volunteer to become trained. I'm not the brightest ball, but I have 3 college degrees. I can figure out how to run a decibel machine. I'll volunteer.
All right, Nick will be in touch. Nick will be in touch.
Nick, have you've been to the location in question, correct?
Yes.
Has Mr. Nelson taken any steps on his property side to mitigate the noise?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Has Mr. Nelson taken any
steps
on his side?
Yes, I drew a purple line like that's going to stop it.
Excuse me?
I drew a purple line with paint like that's going to stop it.
He put
on your property line.
Yeah. Do you realize how many? I've done nice things for Kevin. When he lost his first job, I took him on jobs. I took him to Hackettstown, New Jersey for a 2nd-story deck. I took him all kinds of places.
You guys should talk and figure it out.
He won't. I called him after one episode. I said, Kevin, bring your posse over. Let's have a conversation. Nothing. Then the next weekend, the same thing. Then the following weekend, there were 12. And I snapped. I called you at home.
Okay.
I called you at home. And I said, this is insanity.
All right. Kevin, will you talk to Tom? Yeah, come up for a couple of minutes.
I put myself on the agenda. That's why I'm up here.
He is.
I didn't say you
Everybody,
didn't.
hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. I can see where this is going.
All right, Tom, we've heard your concerns. Nick has addressed them. Kevin, if you want to come up and respond for a couple minutes, go ahead. And then we're going to move this along.
Kevin Hanlon, 33 Allegheny Road. Tom's neighbor. Also, I like him. We were friends for a long time, and he's gonna come up here and act like he does nothing but help me. When his leg's broken, I'm plowing his driveway even after he's voicing complaints about this. Secondly, my house is not only zoned for residential, it's also zoned for agriculture, industrial, like commercial. So if you're going to apply some ordinance, it's got to be to everything. You're talking about now farmers won't be able to use their tractors more than, and I've done my best to be at least 100 feet away from the property line. That wasn't good enough. The very next day he calls Nick on a Sunday. Nick calls me up and says, I don't want to have to do this. I had a nice discussion with Nick. So to act like he's best friends with these guys up here is ridiculous. I've done everything I can do until I start getting text messages. I don't know if you guys want to see them, but basically threatening text messages with a bunch of F-bombs. I've never once sent this man a curse or any kind of inappropriate text, nor am I his child. He doesn't get to come up here and tell me what I am and am not allowed to do on my property when the guy had wolves for 20 years. Do you know how many decibels wolves hit? It's a lot more than ATVs, I can tell you that much. So it's 115 decibels according to the internet. And that's for 5 miles away. You can hear wolves for 5 miles away. If
we could just keep it down in the audience, please. Go ahead, Kevin.
He lives maybe 75 feet from the property line. That's not my problem. I didn't build the house there. But I certainly pay a shitload of taxes in order to be able to use my property the way that I want. And again, unless you're going to go after the farmlands or Air Liquide or All Aspects, I hear music from All Aspects on Sundays way louder than anything that's come off of my property. And I'm fine with that. I don't complain. They should be allowed to do what they're allowed to do. That's why we buy a piece of property in this paradise we call Mount Bethel. But I don't get less rights because he inherited his house and I bought mine. I don't get less rights because I pay 4 times the taxes he does. And I don't get less rights just because he's lived here longer than me. That's not the way that it works. If he wants to build a fence, nobody's riding on his property. I'm more than 100 feet away from the property line, and I don't even have to be. But now he wants me to basically stop utilizing my property without any reimbursement to me. If he wants to pay half my property taxes, I'll work out a deal.
Maybe you can work out a deal without having to exchange money. Maybe I don't know.
Why? Just to be treated like I'm somebody's child?
No, he shouldn't treat you like a child.
Do you want to see these text messages?
No, I don't.
Well,
I'll take
then
your
maybe
word
you shouldn't
for it.
talk onto what you don't know about.
What I do know what I'm talking about. I'm talking that Nick is going to.
What he's
get
asking
a,
of
hold
me-
on. Nick is going to get a certification. He's going to get the machine checked. Go ahead.
And that's fine. And what he's talking about is essentially somebody like Corey, Miss Ekman, she wouldn't be able to even turn her machines on her property at all. She wouldn't have enough space from the road to where she parks her vehicles in her garage to even be able to load them onto a truck without violating that same ordinance. So you can't just nitpick and say, I don't like this house. I don't like this guy. I have the same rights as everybody else in this town. And it shouldn't take 36 harassing text messages. Yeah, you know why I don't respond to him? Because I don't have to. I'm not obligated to respond to somebody that acts like they're somebody else's parent and treats them like a naughty child or something. I'm 45 years old. I bought my house. And yeah, my house is probably valued a little bit higher than his even.
Okay. Thank you, Captain.
And because of me, his property is worth that much. Before that, when I first moved in, it was worth $300. Well, go look it up on Zillow.
Okay, thanks. All right, moving on. Hey, guys. Nick, United Way agreement.
We did, there was, I think the last meeting we tabled it. So our solicitor, Ron, took a look at it and made a couple of adjustments, which we did. And everything is changed. United Way has agreed to the changes, which were minor. And the last page, the identification of each individual involved.
Yeah, it's fine. They made all the changes I
Yeah,
asked for.
so
So
we have
At this time, I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement.
Second.
Any discussion?
And that was about where the return money went. The verbiage of that, correct?
Yeah, hold on.
Yes.
Hold on for one
If you want-
second.
If you want Ron to go,
I have here, it says upon termination, any unexpected program funds held by Slater Family Network or any other party shall be returned to UMBT unless otherwise agreed to in writing.
Okay.
Perfect.
Mr. Chair, just one, I don't know if you want to add it to the motion because you need to give me permission to transfer the money.
Yeah, okay.
$30,000 from the home account. $30,000 from the home account.
Okay.
To United Way.
I will amend my motion that we approve the agreement, and with approval of the agreement, we transfer the 30,000 to the United Way.
From the home account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how much is in the home account?
32,000, like $50, something like, don't hold me exact, it's a little bit more than the.
And we haven't used that home account in years.
No, years, it's, that grant is gone now, it's defunct.
And this definitely will stay in UMBT. Like,
Yes.
we have a say where it goes.
Yeah, the process is, United Way, us, and the Slate Belt Family Network.
Yeah.
Slate Belt Family Network. If someone calls us and we have we have an issue, and they need money for rent, they had a fire, whatever it is, they would go to Slate Belt Family Network, and they have the facilities to check, make sure that those people should be getting that money, or they low income, what have you. They can do that check. They'll come back to me and say, yes, Nick, that they should be getting distributed that money. And then United Way, I would contact United Way, and they would distribute the money.
And then is there anything that we can do, like, to next year raise that 30 to go back in?
We can always increase.
You know, or
Well, people can donate to it also, but we could fund it in the budget. You guys, when we do start talking budgets, we could do that. You just give me direction, and we could put that. I could fund that money. Okay. If that's what if the board wants.
Since I was not at the last meeting, I just want to say my 2 cents on this. I think it's a pretty good, almost insurance policy for some of our residents. If they have a house fire or anything, it can provide longer lodging, which we've seen quite a few times in the last 3 years. And I just want to say that I appreciate that when they first put the policy forward, it was a 15% fee that they were looking to charge. And I appreciate you negotiating on our behalf and getting that down to 5%, because at 15, I wouldn't be in favor of this.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but I don't have a vote. But it all worked out, I think.
Okay, so I need a second to my amended motion. Okay. Any other questions? The amended motion was to approve the agreement and in addition, transfer $30,000 over to the United Way.
From the home.
From the home account.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Alternate engineer, John?
Yes, I brought this up 2 meetings ago. So this is looking at the possibilities, into the future possibilities of this town, perhaps facing any type of data center. And if we were to proceed, I would like to change our alternate engineer to ensure the township has proper knowledge and adequate oversight to ensure the highest protections of our residents. Our current engineer is currently has a conflict with a pending lawsuit against a developer, and I don't want to not have adequate fallback.
John.
Yeah.
We all have a lawsuit. So
No,
if they can't use our current engineer, they shouldn't be talking to us. There's nothing wrong with our alternate solicitor. He has all the maps, all the records, everything, engineer. He has all that in, and he's been in this township and done all this work. We have used him once in 15 years. Yeah. And he's also our alternate CEO. We have an engineer. If they don't want to deal with that, they shouldn't be dealing with us either because we're part of that lawsuit.
It's just that our alternate engineer has no experience dealing with data centers
Yeah.
if we needed to utilize it.
But we have an engineer.
I'm being told by our illustrious secretary, Supervisor Albert, that Mr. Calora, who's the alternate engineer, doesn't want any part of this. So now I don't know if that's true. That's what I'm being told.
And that's just the data centers or anything down there? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So, Ron, can we have a third alternate engineer? I mean, we don't pay him unless we use him. So, since Calora has everything, if this does go forward, then can we put him as like a third alternate? You know, is that
Well,
even legal?
you can have as many engineers or lawyers or zoning officers as you want. I would just say that if it's going to be solely with the data center, that this is a special solicitor designated for the data center matter.
Engineer, not
Or
solicitor.
engineer, I'm sorry, designated for the data center, and that's fine. That's a special engineer designated for that. That is perfectly fine. Now, whether you want to use Calora or someone else, that's up to you.
But if Calora doesn't want to do it, which is understandable, but then, we should still keep him. He's been around. He has the maps.
He's still your alternate engineer.
Yeah.
Again, I'm saying that you will set up a classification, if you will, as special engineer for data center. So that doesn't make his alternate engineer standing go away. It just says this is now someone who is specially designated to do this.
But if we do something like this, and like Supervisor Albert said, if there's an issue because there's a lawsuit with Justin, we're all in that lawsuit, then I don't want it to be like, well, we're not going to use Justin. We're going to go right to the alternate. Like can it still follow?
That's your call to decide what you want to do. Do you want to use Justin, who is capable, competent,
Right.
very skilled, to be involved, even though he is a party? That could be a bit dicey, to have a party also representing you, if you will. You may need to have someone else do that, whether it's Calora, whether it's a data center person or whatever, but and that becomes tedious and time consuming, and you spend money and you waste a lot of time. But unfortunately, he was sued with everybody else. We got to deal with that.
Right.
I think we keep this on file for now. I mean, we're going forward with Justin as our engineer on this project, and until Justin says, "Hey, I can't do it," or I don't want any part of it, then we can go to an alternate solicitor or engineer. So that's my thought. Why bring this guy on board right now when we have Justin? Justin's going to do it. If something comes up and Justin can't do it, keep this guy on file and then we'll go to him. That's just my thoughts.
Ron, would any developer, if they have a lawsuit against that municipality's engineer, have the right to decline them?
Then they should decline us. Like
They can't decline us because we're the supervisors. There is no alternate for our position.
Our engineer, though. So to me, I think it would go hand in hand. I mean, if they're gonna say moving forward that they don't want to work with Justin, then we're all in it together. Unfortunately, all of our names are on it.
And we tell them,
We have an alternate.
we tell them Justin is our engineer. That's who you're working with.
I think that John makes a good point, and Jonathan does too, in the sense that let Justin handle the matter. If he says, I'm conflicted, I have a problem, just like I did with the RPL stuff, because I had been representing the township and favoring RPL, if you will, before, and now take a different spot, he'll tell us.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you can then hire someone to take over. But I believe that having an alternate for the data center, whatever, as Jonathan is proposing, is probably a good idea.
I believe though they sued Justin personally and not Carroll Engineering. And Carroll Engineering is the firm we hired to represent us as our engineering firm.
That is true. However, the person who's sitting here representing Carroll Engineering is Justin. So we've got to sort of defer to him, if you will. And I agree with you. It is the firm. It is not necessarily just Justin. But let's let him tell the township what needs to be done or what is occurring, and then we can all be a little bit more intelligent about what we should do.
Justin, have you been told to step away from the project?
No, not at all.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Tom.
In the past, when we considered alternate solicitors, alternate engineers, Mr. Baltic rightly wanted to see all of their credentials going back 24 years. Don't fault you for that. If you're proposing an alternate solicitor for the data center part,
Engineer.
alternate
Yep.
engineer, apologies, for the data center component of this, I would absolutely want that person publicly vetted to make sure a couple of things. One, they know what they're doing here in the data center world. Two, they don't have a conflict of interest with any data center developer. We want somebody who can neutrally represent our entire community. Interesting that we're looking for an alternate solicitor for data centers when we don't know if a data center's coming. Guys, you've shown your cards. You said a data center's coming. You're even putting an alternate solicitor, alternate engineer on the agenda tonight.
Tom, they haven't, and I'm telling you this, they haven't said who the end user is. And I said,
Sure
and
they have.
let me finish. And I have said, if I had to bet my last $5, I would bet a data center's coming here. They haven't told us who the company is. As soon as we know, you'll know.
But you're planning for one. So start.
That's what I said. I assume.
I applaud David for putting an ordinance forth. It's about damn time. You guys are probably
That's what
6
we're
months
doing.
late. But if you're going to have an alternate engineer for data centers, vet the shit out of that person and make
We
it
will.
all public, please.
Thank you.
We do have the resume of anyone that was interested to becoming that position.
All right, so we haven't even interviewed this guy yet. So I mean, all I know is a piece of paper right now. What's that? You have to come up to the mic. Sorry. All right, if you remember, let me know. All right, moving on. Ambulance coverage, I'm going to table that for tonight. I'm waiting. Cindy thanks me. I'm waiting for a price from Suburban. Just to give you a quick update, we're trying, Chief Potter and I, along with Nick, have met with Suburban a few times. We're trying to get an ambulance in the township. Right now, we're trying a pilot program because the concern is we don't want to pay. We want to pay for an ambulance if the ambulance is going to spend the majority of its time in Upper Mount Bethel. The issue is if the ambulance gets called out by Bangor or East Bangor or Lower Mount Bethel, it has to go. That's Pennsylvania state law. So what we're trying to do is work out where we could get an ambulance here from September 1st to December 31st. Get a price from them and use it as a program to see, are we benefiting by having an ambulance in the township? So we wouldn't have to do a year-long agreement and then see, is it working out? We'd only do September, October, 4-month agreement. So it'd be the last quarter. So I'll keep you updated on that. Cindy, if we can put that on the July, I don't even know, 27th.
Well, then that being
27th.
said, Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we table new business item 1.
Okay, and I'll second it. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Ron, ordinance 2026-01.
Yes, I was tasked to do a dog leash ordinance in the park, and I've prepared an ordinance to apply not only to the park, but to the Eastern Industries property, walking trails, hiking trails, etc. Assuming you want to include that. That's up to the board. I also, in saying what vehicles are not permitted, okay, I also said what vehicles would be permitted, if you will. And I have automobiles, trucks, vans, motorcycles, bicycles, skateboards, roller skates, and inline skates. In other words, those would be allowed. Now, you may not want to go that far. I understand that. And then what I have actually prohibited are dirt bikes, all-terrain vehicles, yard vehicles, scooters, e-bikes, e-scooters, fifth wheels, campers, construction vehicles of similar type. And also a dog shall be kept on leash while at the park. And we also have there, just to be safe, that any township vehicles are not subject to this ordinance, obviously, if they're going about doing things and doing work. So it's a matter of what the township wants to do with respect to how far it wants to go as to what vehicles they don't want in the park. The dog leash one, that's easy. That's just there. So
My thought is, Stavros, have you looked at this ordinance? I'd say let's get a copy to Stavros to run it by the Park and Rec Committee and then get their thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, without adding more pages, we do take advantage of side-by-sides during the 4th of July event, garbage cleanup. We let the...
You could have exceptions.
Yeah, just add in for our Parks and Rec events.
They would be authorized at that point in time.
Okay.
They'd be
Which you have
township.
covered.
Yeah, because they're working for the township. Okay. Cindy, can you send it to Stavros and Laura? Open space.
That being said, Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we table item 2 under new business.
Okay, I'll second it. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ron, Eastern Industries property lease.
yes, our township manager asked me to review this matter because apparently there is an individual or a company that wants to store 15 or more trailers of tractor-trailer combinations at the Eastern Industry property for a fee and or for using the money to build a gazebo at the township park. I've looked at this matter, and I've also looked at what the PSAT's attorney and Mr. Scott Coburn had to say about this. And his concern is, does the township want to start this? Because once this train leaves the station, it's going to be difficult to stop it for other individuals who may want to do the same thing. And how are we going to set up that? His second concern was that will the township insurance carrier cover this, even though the person who has the trucks or the trailers would have their own insurance. You never know if that's paid. You never know if that's covered. So we want to make sure that if someone gets hurt on the property because of these trailers or loses their life, even worse, that there's coverage for this. And my concern was whether or not this is going to turn that property now into taxable real estate. Right now, it's not taxable. It's owned by the township. It's used for community purposes, etc. Once you start saying you can park vehicles here and give us money or give us something in consideration for that, that may have the county, when they get wind of it, say, oh, okay, now you're using this property for business. Now we're going to tax it. Now, again, Nick was smart enough to check with our auditor, and the auditor does not believe that would be the case. But as I've said before, the auditor is not the county assessor. The county assessor may have all different ideas about this than the auditor. And if the county says, pay us, we're going to have to pay them. So that has to be a concern, with respect to this. Now, would that occur? I don't know, but there's enough boo birds around here that I could see someone telling county that this is happening, and then you're going to get a call.
Are you able to get it an opinion letter from them? Or
I can. I don't want to kick that sleeping dog, though. Do I want to call and say, will you tax this if we do this? And then they say, oh, we didn't know that. Sure, I'll make that call, but I don't know if that kicks that sleeping
Mr.
dog.
Chair, this is one of the owners of the business.
It's, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, my
Hi.
name's Alexandria. I'm actually one of the owners. As far as an insurance aspect, we are fully covered across the board. As far as the trucks, the trailers, anything on the trailers. We also have workman's comp, which is huge, as what he's saying with insurance, if anything that happens on your property. Workman's comp is huge right now, as far as covering you guys and us for anybody who's in there. We're not parking any vehicles there. If there would be, it'd be one truck of some guy who actually lives locally in your town, who just goes home on the weekends. So there's no vehicles being parked there. It's not, I don't think it'll be an open door for more people to do the same opportunity. We are temporary. We actually just moved here last year. So we came from Blairstown across the bridge. We're looking for a permanent home in your town in general for our business. So we're looking into buying property. Right now, we just need a temporary spot to be keeping our equipment.
So this wouldn't be permanent?
No.
Okay.
And as far as leasing, it was more of we wanted to donate back to the community to get the gazebo, because I know there's some stipulations with that. So we were merely looking to donate the money because we know you guys were looking for a gazebo, or like the other events that you've done here, we've donated in the past couple months. So there's that too. But I mean,
and I don't mean to interrupt the young lady,
No, go
but the donation might be a way that we can get around the taxation issue if it occurs and say, well, we're not getting any money for it. They've made a donation. They can make a donation. And as long as it's not a quid pro quo or look like it was done in consideration for that, we could dodge that bullet if it's raised.
Just take the donation off the table for now.
And this is not a permanent situation.
I'm just hearing that now. So obviously that helps a bit too, although we would need to tweak what that means, 2 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever.
Maybe if you draft an agreement and if it turns out we do get assessed and have to pay taxes, then maybe the company will pay those taxes if
can I actually add to that right now? You actually have a company parking their vehicles on said property. More than one. I think I saw about 10 tree trucks there. I forget the name of it. It was.
Yeah, that's utilities.
So I feel like that's kind of. I don't know. You're telling me that one thing that it would be considered profit for you guys and you'd have to pay taxes, but you already have a company parking on said property.
We don't receive anything from that company. We're at the point now where one of my thoughts would be that if we let you do it, we have to let everyone do it. I do like the idea. I'm not saying I don't. But we're already facing that with the tree truck company.
Yeah, those tree trucks, Alexandria, they're utilities. They work for the utilities. And
No, I understand that.
So
I understand
it's a
that.
different situation. You're private.
I get
owners.
that, but you're just saying to let one company on, it would be a problem, but you're already letting one company.
We're just throwing out ideas. This
is kind of new.
Yeah, this is new. So we're just trying to figure out, can it be done and whether it should be done.
The county taxing our land is a cat in a bag, and if it comes out of the bag, it's going to be hard to get back in.
Hold on 1 second. Ron and then Tom. Go ahead, Ron. You got to come up to the mic.
There are several pieces of commercial industrial land in the township, some right on 611, that she could certainly go to and park them there. But you're opening a hell of a can of worms to let somebody start using the Eastern Industries property.
Yep. Tom.
I am agreeing with Ron Engel. Two of you sit on the Open Space Advisory Board. You guys know what's coming. By the end of fall, we're going to start construction on the Mount Bethel Preserve. This was all open space money that got this for the township. You're going to tell me you're going to now turn this into some sort of business with some cash flow? No offense. I appreciate that you guys are here. I'm glad you're coming into the township with a business. Awesome. Love that. I'm with Ron. There's a lot of open, available space in the township. Look into it. I'm sure we have some great realtors. They've all left, but they were here earlier. They'd love to help you guys. That is for the preserve. The wetlands that are immediately adjacent to that, you guys who have explored using that as a township building know that if there's any runoff from trucks entering or any of that into that wetland, Judy, help me, who administers the wetland right there? The Nature Conservancy is going to literally crawl in here and die. This is a bad idea. It sets a bad precedent with what we're about to put in there. That's going to be pristine and beautiful. You're then going to turn it into a commercial space. That's nuts, especially as we were considering using some of that for the road crew. Then who's in whose way? I agree with everyone who said it's a bad precedent. I'm with Ron.
Thanks, Tom. Maybe
I just want to
yeah
segue off of what Tom is saying. We're not using the preserve. It's the public works area that we're using.
Well, maybe
we're not touching the preserve.
Okay.
We wouldn't consider that.
And the public works area has machinery in it constantly and doing work. That's
Not for a private. Not for a private.
Well, let's also look and see if there's other places in the township.
Give them credit. They've looked a lot, and I've actually talked to realtors. The property that they're talking about at 611 is contaminated, so you can't use that property. Another property that's on 512, we're not mentioning names. They've done their due diligence. I've done my due diligence to try to help them find something. Yeah, there's property all over here, but some is not for sale and some have issues. And some people are asking for the sky, which I wouldn't blame them for that.
Another idea is that we give them a certain fixed time. We give them, I just throw this out there, we give them 6 months that they can put him there. They have to find a place within 6 months. It's just, we're trying to think of negotiation ideas.
Then, once again, Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we table item 3 under new business.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that for more dialogue to make sure that we do it properly.
Okay, we'll try and
It's just table. We're not going to stop. We just have to table this particular item for now.
All right,
We're not gonna
put
vote.
it. All right,
Ron
let's.
still look into it?
Absolutely.
If you want me to contact the county assessor's office for the tax issue, I can certainly do that. I don't have a problem with that. I just am always concerned about, as I'd like to say, kick that sleeping dog. But I can call and find out and get it right up front whether it's going to be an issue or not. As to whether or not you want the vehicles there, whether it should be in the preserve, as Mr. Gilmore says, or something. That's a policy call. It's not a legal call.
Yeah.
But I can make the call to county, which would be a legal call for the tax
Yeah, that'd
issue.
be great. Okay, thanks. All right, there's a motion on the floor. It's been seconded. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I don't have anything for executive session.
I do quickly.
You do?
Yes, quickly.
All right, we're going into executive session. We'll be out quickly. It's an attorney-client matter, or privileged. 1, 2. All right, I'll call this meeting back into order. It is 9:38 p.m. Ron, so we went into executive session, attorney-client privilege. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, we discussed various matters that would be privileged under attorney-client privilege. I don't believe any motions need to be made, but that's up to the supervisors if you do.
Okay, is there any motions to be made? Okay, with that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.